University of Johannesburg. She's a Haitian American scholar and co-coordinator of the Black Alliance for Peace's Haiti Americas team, which has been closely following the crisis in Haiti. A recent article for NACLA is headlined, "Haiti as Empire's Laboratory." Professor Pierre, welcome to Democracy Now! Can you start off by describing what you understand is the latest on the ground, who the armed groups are, and the different sectors of Haitian society that are joining together with those armed gangs and calling for the resignation of the unelected Prime Minister, Henry?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Amy. One of the things that we need to just start off with is just these are paramilitary forces. I think gangs is an insufficient name for them because a lot of them are former military and former police officers, and they're heavily armed. What's happening is a bunch of different groups coming together to say, and they call themselves now Vivre Ensemble, which is live together, a bunch of different various armed young groups, young men in groups, to say that they want to get rid of Ariel Henry. Now, we hear that there are negotiations happening around the clock, and apparently there's supposed to be negotiations going on today, I think in Jamaica or by the CARICOM countries that include the US, France, and Canada. The problem, though, is the fact that there are all these negotiations going on outside of Haiti by many foreigners with no main participation from the Haitian masses. And I think, we have to go back to understand that the root of this crisis is not last week, it's not this week, it's not even Ariel Henry, but we have to go back to 2004 with the coup-d'état.
So take us on that journey back. If you'll give us the historical context in your piece, it's headlined "Haiti as Empire's Laboratory." In it, you write, "Haiti has been and continues to be the main laboratory for U.S. imperial machinations in the region and throughout the world." Explain.
Yes, definitely. We say the crisis in Haiti is a crisis of imperialism. In 2004, as has been revealed and admitted to, the US, France, and Canada got together and backed a coup d'etat against the country's first democratically elected president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. And the US Marines flew into his home, put him on a plane with his security officials, his wife, and aide, and flew them to the Central African Republic. And people can actually go to the Democracy Now! Archives, which covered this live. And I remember listening to this happening live. And the point of this was that this coup d'etat, which was led by two permanent members of the UN Security Council, was then sanctioned by the UN when these same two members of the UN Security Council, and that's US and France, basically pushed the UN Security Council into sending a multinational military force to Haiti, armed under Chapter 7 deployment. And that itself was illegal because the original coup d'etat was illegal. The US ambassador to Haiti and the deputy ambassador were in the process. They're the ones that named who the interim president would be, put together a council of sages that basically restructured Haiti's elected president. And back then we had 7,000 elected officials. Today we have 0. And over time, I say Haiti has been under occupation because it is this military occupation, the minister occupation that went from 2004 to 2007, that established the core group, that it's an unelected group of Western officials, including Brazil, which led the military arm of the occupation in 2004 under Lula, which led then, which has been controlling all the actions in Haiti, down to naming who the prime minister would be, Ariel Henry, after the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. I have to quickly say, though, one of the key things that happened is in 2010, after the earthquake in Haiti that killed hundreds of thousands, where the U.S. pushed the sitting president, René Préval, to have elections. And in the WikiLeaks papers revealed to us later that Hillary Clinton actually flew to Haiti and changed the election results, where Michel Martelly of the PHTK political party did not make the first round, but the U.S. forced the Haitian Election Council to actually put him in the second round. And so establishing the PHTK, Michel Martelly, a neo-Duvalierist, as Haiti's president, with under 20% of the people voting, with the largest political party in Haiti, La Balance, not being able to participate, we set the stage for what we see today. So by the time we get to Ariel Henry being imposed on the Haitian people by the core group, we have no elected officials because Michel Martelly, basically under him, we lost a lot of, we didn't have many elections, and then he put in his protege, Jovenel Moïse, who was also unpopular and didn't run any elections. So we actually haven't had any elections in Haiti since 2016, when Jovenel Moïse was selected for us by the core group. And so to understand what's going on in Haiti, we have to understand how the original moment of the 2004 coup d'état led us to the complete destruction of the Haitian state. And if we don't do that, we don't understand these current flare-ups where people are saying they want their democracy back and saying that whatever negotiations that are happening outside of Haiti has nothing to do with them because it has not included them.
You know, when we went to the Central African Republic in a small plane with U.S. Congress member Maxine Waters and the late founder of TransAfrica, Randall Robinson, and a Jamaican MP, we flew to the Central African Republic. They went to retrieve the Aristides who'd been put there by the United States. And as we were flying back over the Atlantic, they got word from that Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, and Colin Powell were saying that the Aristides were not to return to this hemisphere, were not to return to Haiti, to which Randall Robinson replied, "Whose hemisphere?" And so he was not able to land in Haiti and went into exile in South Africa, where you have also taught for many years, for over 7 years. And then we went to South Africa when he finally returned to Haiti. And people can see all of those reports at democracynow.org. But I'm wondering, I wanted to talk about the latest news, the Miami Herald reporting that Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke by phone Thursday with Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry in a series of calls that officials described as tense. This is the U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller speaking Wednesday about the violence in Haiti.
As the situation on the ground grows increasingly dire, we in CARICOM have continued to call on stakeholders, including the Prime Minister, to make concessions in the interest of the Haitian people. So we are not calling on him or pushing for him to resign, but we are urging him to expedite the transition to an empowered and inclusive governance structure that will move with urgency to help the country prepare for a multinational security support mission to address the security situation and pave the way for free and fair elections.
But Jacqueline Charles, the Miami Herald reporter, said that the U.S. was pushing Ariel Henry to resign. What do you understand, Professor Pierre, about the latest? And also even where he is. Is he still in Puerto Rico, unable to get back to Haiti? Yeah,
he's in Puerto Rico under FBI's protection. He had to leave the hotel he was in when he first landed because Haitian people living in Puerto Rico were protesting his presence in the state, and so that's important. You know, the U.S. government is being extremely hypocritical here because in 2004, when the U.S. Marines landed at Aristide's house, put him on a plane and told the world that he resigned before the plane even landed in Central African Republic, and basically put in power a whole new government. And now they're saying that this unelected prime minister that they put in place refuses to resign, where he actually has no legitimacy and no mandate whatsoever. I also want to say quickly, just to touch back to the question earlier, is the reason I say Haiti's a laboratory, because this is the first coup d'etat that was sanctioned by the UN, and Haiti was ruled by a multilateral coalition of all these countries. And so the UN occupation of Haiti through MINUSTAH and through the core group is multinational, multiracial, and it almost seems as if this is a humanitarian effort as opposed to a coup d'etat that has been successful. And so the whole world is participating in the occupation of Haiti unwittingly, and this is how we have to remember how the U.S. will work, and they will use their proxies to do the dirty work for them. And I want to say what's happening today on the ground with CARICOM is also a problem, because back in 2004, P.J. Patterson, who was the president of CARICOM, was very much against the removal of Haiti's sitting president. In fact, he refused to acknowledge the imposed government that the U.S. put on us. But now CARICOM is playing a different role, where they're bringing the U.S., France, and Canada, the people who did the original sin, to pick our leaders again. And so the problem is, if this goes on, and if they don't take into account other solutions that Haitians have been putting together, in early 2021, you had La Famille Lavalas come up with Salut Public, which means that we need to start over and change the system. We had the Montana Accords. We have local groups that actually had a solution before the Moïse assassination. The U.S. government was trying to protect Moïse and basically ignored all these local solutions. And so now they cannot say that they're here to help Haiti, as much as trying to figure out how to put in place another unpopular and illegal government. And so then we'll have the same problem a few years down the line. The other thing I want to quickly say, I know in a hurry, is that the people funding these armed groups are the part of the oligarchy. And most of the guns and ammunition are coming from the U.S. People must remember that in the late 2022 and early 2023, the Canadian government sanctioned 3 of the richest oligarchs in Haiti. That's Gilbert Bijou, Renaud Deep, and Sharif Abdallah. The Canadian government also sanctioned former President Michel Martelly and Laurent Lamont, his prime minister, all of them because for drug trafficking, but also for funding these armed groups. And so in the news, you get these guys that look, like ragged and poor, but then the people really funding them, because Haiti does not manufacture guns, are these elites that are behind all the violence. And so I also want to put that into very clear context, so that we know that this is a very complex problem that's very much set up by the 2004 coup, but also perpetuated by the oligarch and the U.S., which work together to keep Haiti unstable, so that we can say Haiti's ungovernable and we need to come in and save it.
Can you explain who Guy Philippe is, who just left U.S. prison in November, his role in the coup in 2004, and now what he's doing?
Right, and this is very important. Thank you for asking this. Guy Philippe was around in 2004. In fact, Guy Philippe was trained by the U.S. in Ecuador and spent a lot of time living and training in the Dominican Republic. So in the lead up to the coup d'etat against Aristide in 2004, what you have is all the fall of 2003, what you had, Guy Philippe and his armed groups would cross into the border and ransack and attack police stations and so on and so forth. Back then, which is fascinating, if you look up in the news, the Western media portrayed him as a freedom fighter. He was the hero standing up against the evil Aristide, according to the West. And so they supported him. And he would say later that he was actually being funded by the CIA and so on. And then as soon as, what happened, once they remove Aristide, what you have is they tried to integrate these former armed military groups into the Haitian National Police, because Aristide had disbanded the army. And so what you have is, that's why I say we have to call these paramilitaries, because these are former armed groups that actually were funded by outsiders to oust our democratically elected president. And here we are, Guy Philippe was arrested by the US and put in prison for drug trafficking. And we have to understand this because even during his trial, there are certain things that were kept secret because it implicated the US government. And so he served 6 years in prison as a criminal in the US. And now the US dumped him in Haiti in November 2023. After serving 6 years of a 9-year term. And so now he's back running around saying he wants to be president. And he's getting, you're saying Haiti's, everyone pretends that Haiti, are saying that Haiti's at war and so on and so forth. But the reality is Guy Philippe is giving interviews to all the mainstream press. Guy Philippe gives more interviews than the local people who are organizing against repression. We don't hear them in the Washington Post, but we hear Guy Philippe. So I wonder what the U.S. role is for Guy Philippe right now. And as far as I'm concerned, he should be tried for treason because he worked with the U.S. to actually remove our elected president. And so we have to be very careful about what the U.S. is bringing, what the mainstream media is bringing to us as real and as a situation when we know the situation is actually very much controlled by the U.S. and the core group when it comes to Haiti.
And Cherizier, known as Barbecue, the leader of one of the most powerful armed groups, explain his role right now and the alliance that has been formed between the armed groups and also really, isn't it true, for the very first time, sort of forming an alliance with the elite as well, at least agreeing that Ariel Henry should be ousted?
Yes, apparently it seems like Cherizier has joined in with all the other groups that they were having trouble with. And so it is a combination of all kinds of groups that had worked against one another, that had fought against one another, and now they're coming together to get rid of Henry. And I think part of the problem is I think they're afraid of this supposedly Kenyan-led but U.S. pushed Kenyan mission of 1,000 police officers coming in, another foreign invasion, and they're worried about their position in Haitian society. I do think the elite have to be brought into this, the oligarch of Haiti that are funding this and supporting this, because this nonstop ammunition comes from somewhere. They're coming from these ports that are owned by the elites. And so there might be we don't know who the machinations behind these gangs, who's paying for them, who, we know that they broke into the ports and emptied some containers, and we don't know what they took, but we know that the ports are not owned by the people, they're owned by the oligarchs. And so what's going on in Haiti is actually very important because I don't think it's a plan that the U.S. wanted, which is why they rushed Henry to Kenya to sign this bilateral agreement after the Kenyan courts said that it was unconstitutional for Kenya to send its police to Haiti. But I think things changed faster than they anticipated. And so now they're scrambling for a new plan in Haiti. And in the meantime, what's happening is our people that are the poor people on the ground are the ones suffering.
Well, Jemima Pierre, we want to thank you so much for your analysis. Professor at the Social Justice Institute at the University of British Columbia in Canada, was before that at UCLA, and is research associate at the University of Johannesburg, a Haitian American scholar and co-coordinator